where news comes first. This is ABC-7 Extra.
Good evening. I'm Saul Saenz, and this is ABC-7 Extra. More businesses reopened Friday as part of the Texas Governor Greg Abbott's plan to slowly open Texas and stimulate the economy. Friday, hair salons, barbershops, and nail salons were given the green light to open, but they would need to uphold certain guidelines, including maintaining at least 6 feet of social distancing between operating workstations. These businesses must operate at 25% of their capacity. They joined other businesses that were permitted to reopen last week, like retail stores and restaurants. But each business has its own unique challenges. Last month, El Paso announced a new public-private partnership to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. That group's aim is to bring together medical professionals and local agencies to battle the spread of the virus. An international research and development group named Battelle was contracted to provide hands-on and support and guidance. Battelle has been at the forefront of the global response to COVID-19 pandemic worldwide. Tonight, I'll talk to members of the partnership to get an idea of just how they can help stop the spread of the virus in the borderland. One of the many objectives the Enhanced Regional Public Health Response Group has is to identify the specific needs a business has to fight the spread once that business opens. Every business is different, so battling the spread of COVID-19 should be different as well.
So a lot of the focus has been on people interaction, but we really cannot forget our environment as businesses reopen.
Dr. Mena is a member of the newly formed Enhanced Regional Public Health Partnership. It includes borderland private and public agencies, all tasked with making sure businesses are open with all the necessary precautions to prevent the spread of COVID-19. We've all become familiar with basic CDC guidelines like wearing face coverings and washing hands frequently. But Mena says borderland residents also have to be mindful of our surroundings inside a business. ABC-7 showed you this animation of how an airborne virus can spread, but it's where that virus lands that becomes crucial to preventing the spread.
Respiratory viruses are easily transmitted throughout the office setting and other workplace settings, so it's important to remember the role of environmental surfaces.
For example, you could unknowingly place a phone on a counter while paying for an item. Well, Mena says that phone could spread the virus.
Someone could be an asymptomatic carrier of COVID-19, transmit the virus to their cell phone. Their cell phone is sitting on a countertop by the common area of the sink. That virus very well now may be a countertop, and someone else then could be subsequently exposed.
Guidelines designed for specific businesses have not been developed or released. Once they are, they will work with community partners like Paso del Norte, Medical Center of America's Foundation, and others to spread the word. Ultimately, though, Mena says it's up to us, people patronizing businesses, to help stop the spread of COVID-19.
We need to remember that workplace safeguards are implemented, and we don't want to disrupt that when we patronize that establishment and don't follow those same guidelines.
Well, that's just a small role the COVID-19 Enhanced Regional Public Health Partnership will do to help the borderland. Joining us to tell us more about the partnership and the work they'll be doing or have already done is Emma Schwartz, president of the Medical Center of the Americas, and Tracy Yellen, the chief executive officer for the Paso del Norte Health Foundation. Ladies, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. And I'll start with you, Ms. Schwartz. Emma Schwartz. Tell me more about this partnership. What exactly is its aim? Because we already know, based on what we just heard, that one of the things is to help businesses. What else are you all going to do?
Absolutely. So what's really important to understand about a comprehensive response to any pandemic is that a pandemic has to be responded to through a public-private partnership. One cannot rely solely on a public health department to get through a global crisis like this, because each one of us in our personal lives and in our professional lives has a duty to participate in the proper response to a pandemic. So what we're trying to do is bring together the private sector under a unified plan so that we're working together to support the great work that is already happening at the city, to make sure that the efforts that they have are supported by the private sector through the actions we take, especially as we're getting close to reopening. Of course, this is a new uncharted territory for communities all around the globe. So having a partner like Battelle to be a scientific advisor as we make decisions as a community is incredibly valuable to us.
And Ms. Tracy Yellen, have you all met with Battelle yet? Have they been to El Paso? Have they seen the uniqueness of our region?
Yeah, Battelle is really a remarkable organization. They're a nonprofit corporation headquartered in Ohio. They have already sent Dr. Nicole Brennan to our community. She has spent many hours with the city public health officials and all of the different stakeholders, both in El Paso, also in southern New Mexico and Juarez. And so they definitely understand the unique binational nature of our community and the challenges that we face because of it. And they're helping us think through and advise the city and all the stakeholders on the strategy, the protective equipment needed, and how do we reuse that efficiently, the testing required, the contact tracing, the messaging, all of the pieces that are required, and knowledge that we need, and additional guidance to get through this as quickly and safely as possible.
Ms. Schwartz, Battelle is an international group, and I'm sure they've pretty much seen it all, because obviously we know that it started elsewhere and came to the U.S. Have they identified some of the areas that maybe we can improve upon here in the borderland?
Absolutely. The areas that we're working on with Battelle are the same areas that every community is working on. What's interesting about this unprecedented event is that people are having to get involved in a public health response who never had to be really that involved in public health previously. So, for example, you have employers at car dealerships, at restaurants, at grocery stores, and at retail shops who are having to procure personal protective equipment like face masks and gloves and hand sanitizer and even disinfectants for their companies. And they have to purchase these in certain quantities that they've never had to before. And so establishing a system to help these employers purchase PPE from validated vendors who are not price gouging them and who are providing the proper product, because there's a lot of fake product out on the market right now, is really important. So where we can provide coordination for the needs of our employers, get them what they need, and then assist them with the proper training around ensuring the employees use the PPE properly. Okay. Same thing for testing. Employers don't know how to access mass testing for coronavirus. So we need to make sure that we only procure testing in our community that is valid, that will provide the information that we need, and that we use that information properly to make decisions about opening, reopening, keeping employees home, and other important factors.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to pick up where we left off. But you're watching ABC-7 Extra. When we come back, the El Paso County judge shows his frustration over the growing numbers. I'll ask my guests what impact this partnership can have on the numbers. You're watching ABC-7 Extra, where news comes first.
We all need heroes now more than ever. If you have encountered a hero in healthcare or a first responder, we want to know. Go to the share link at kvia.com or the ABC7 News app and upload a photo so they can be recognized. Healthcare Heroes, sponsored by Raising Cane's.
ABC-7 covers coronavirus in the borderland like no one else. In Texas and New Mexico, viewers in Las Cruces are paying attention.
I just want to just say KVIA TV, Channel 7 does a fantastic job. They have a dedicated staff, 2 members, Kate Berry and Tom Scott, who provide information nonstop every day.
Whatever it takes, wherever you are, in Texas and New Mexico, ABC-7 is here to help you keep your family safe.
Hi. As you know, our community is in a crisis, trying to stop the spread of COVID-19. So if you could stay home, limit your travel, whether to going to the doctors or getting groceries, and if you can use the restaurants or the curbside, carry out, or drive through, we'd appreciate it.
Stay informed. If you have any questions, visit the Department of Health online or give us a call. Together, we can flatten the curve.
We're not able at this time to gather to worship God and be nourished by God together.
Be united with one another at home, over the phone, and social media.
As Jesus told a man he cured, go home to your family and tell them everything the Lord has done for you.
Pray from your heart, read the scriptures, stay close to your faith leader and religious community, support your congregation.
We are El Paso Strong.
Is your business suffering while you do your part to stop the spread of COVID-19? ABC-7 is here to help. Sign up for your free Open for Biz page at kvia.com. It's a quick and easy way to let the public know when you're open, what changes you're making, and how you're helping your customers through the crisis. Once you're registered, it's easy to update your listing as your plans change. Just go to the coronavirus section at kvia.com and look for the Open for Biz link.
We want to salute everyone on the front lines.
Doctors, nurses, EMTs, everyone in the healthcare field.
Police, fire, military.
Truckers, grocery and pharmacy workers.
We know you're putting our health and safety in front of your own.
We love you and appreciate you.
At ABC-7, news comes first.
But we understand nothing we do would be possible if it weren't for your sacrifice and dedication.
You make the Borderlands special. Thank you.
Thank you.
When big news breaks,
Did you have any funding from an outside group, or is this completely grassroots?
there's nothing like ABC-7 Extra, the Borderlands one-of-a-kind resource for deep dives into our most critical issues.
We're at home not making any money.
Context, depth, perspective from experts, policymakers, and community leaders.
What we don't want to do is open up today and we're back in quarantine in June and July.
ABC-7 Extra, Sunday nights at 10:35, only on ABC-7, where news comes first.
You can make a difference, El Paso.
The restaurant industry is decimated.
The El Paso Community Foundation is connecting laid-off restaurant workers with the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank.
You can help fund temporary employment for food service workers by clicking on the link at kvia.com.
Mountain Star Sports will make a matching donation to the food bank.
Please support the dignity of a job and fresh, nutritious meals for borderland children and food pantries.
El Paso, your food bank needs you now. The El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank needs volunteers to assist and distribute boxes of food for seniors, children, and families. You can also donate money. Each dollar provides 7 meals. Volunteer, donate, call. El Paso, your food bank needs you now. Learn more about the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank at 298-0353. The El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, 298-0353. Online at elpasoansfightinghunger.org.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Thursday, the city and county held a briefing to give everyone an update regarding the number of cases in our area. County Judge Ricardo Samaniego expressed his frustration over trying to make sense of those growing numbers.
The mayor and I are very convinced that we don't have a good understanding of the numbers. They're continuing to climb.
I also want to welcome back Emma Schwartz, president of the Medical Center of the Americas, and Tracy Yellen, the chief executive officer for the El Paso del Norte Health Foundation. I'll start with you, Ms. Schwartz. You just heard the El Paso County judge over his frustration regarding the numbers. Can the foundation or can this partnership help in either reducing the numbers, or have you all even thought of it that far? Have you gone that far in your frame of thinking? Ms. Schwartz?
Well, yes, I think that the numbers are really all attributable to people's actions, the actions that they're taking. The public health department and the city are putting out really good orders and ordinances to help us try to keep those numbers down. For example, the social distancing, the requirements for using PPE. The problem we're having with the numbers is that people tend to not comply with those ordinances. And we see that especially happening around holidays like Easter, Mother's Day, Cinco de Mayo. And so although it's very socially painful and we're all getting tired of complying with these public health requirements, we see what happens when people don't comply. And so through this public-private partnership, we're hoping to be able to give access to tools to employers and to people throughout our community that can help them be more compliant with the ordinances that are created to keep us all safe.
Education is what you're saying. Ms. Yellen, I've noticed that too. When I go out and about, when I'm driving from a story to a story, I've also noticed that a lot of people are actually not following some of the guidelines. Is your group working on trying to educate the public even more as to why they need to do it? And how are you going about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is essential. It's up to each of us to help all of us get back to work fully, safely. I think the challenge is that as we're going back to work is we may have this false sense of security. Okay, so the movie theaters are open, or now I can get my hair cut. But these protections that we can take are as important as ever. So we have a number of resources available to help inform the public. We've been working with the health department on radio, TV, social media, messaging, and advertising on face coverings and social distancing, like Emma had mentioned. We've also created a website resource called epcovid19.org, where you'll be able to find information for employers. What do you need to do? What kind of steps do you need to take in order to keep your workplace safe? We heard earlier in this segment from Dr. Christy Mena, and she and the Texas UT Houston School of Public Health have helped put these resources together so that we all can follow this guidance. And we want no more fatalities in our community. We've had too many, and we need to work on flattening that curve and getting to zero so we can kind of resume what normal might have been for us before.
Ms. Schwartz, we've identified how we can help some of the businesses identify what it is that they have to do. We've also identified public education, what it is people need to do to cooperate, to bring those numbers down. What else is the partnership identifying to help bring those numbers down? Is there any other areas that you're looking at?
Yes, so we are working hard on developing a private sector testing option or set of options for employers. We know that the city has increased testing significantly at the city through the drive-thrus that they have, and there's been increases at the hospitals at other locations around town. But we realize that in order to safely reopen, testing and contact tracing needs to be a really important component of that reopening strategy. So we are vetting different laboratory options that we can bring to El Paso's employers, along with the strategy for how to test efficiently in this environment of low resources. With each test you give a patient or an employee, you're using PPE, you're using valuable resources, funding and otherwise. And so we want to make sure that we create a strategy that is both comprehensive and effective and also respectful of resources. We're also working with Battelle and the Border RAC and City of El Paso, and a decontamination unit for PPE has been brought to El Paso, which is really exciting news, so that the N95 masks that we've all heard about so much can be reused. And we're also trying to work on a strategy for how to support our neighbors in Juarez, because we know that there are many U.S. citizens living throughout the state of Chihuahua and Mexico. We know that we rely heavily on Juarez, and we are really one community that is intermixed culturally and traditionally, and our families and our workplaces. And so we want to make sure through this effort that we're also supporting our neighbors in Juarez.
We'll be talking about that a little bit more. You're watching ABC-7 Extra. Still ahead, Juarez, Las Cruces, and El Paso are all showing different numbers of cases. I'll ask my guest how the approach to reducing case numbers in each different community and what the challenges are. We'll be right back.
At Sun City Emergency Room, our doctors and nurses are working 24 hours a day to fight COVID-19 in our community. And I urge all El Pasoans to do their part to help slow the spread of the coronavirus. Stay strong, El Paso. Together we will overcome this health crisis.
To encourage the health and safety of our staff, volunteers, and members in our community, we encourage everyone to take action against COVID-19 and stay at home. Together, we can flatten the curve.
ABC-7 is hard at work to bring you stories you won't see anywhere else about the borderland's response to COVID-19, like unique challenges to the deaf and blind.
This is a dangerous time for us. We need the information.
Faith in the face of restrictions, celebrating Passover during a pandemic.
Never before have we been in a situation where loved ones have been unable to gather.
An insider's perspective on conditions at an ICE migrant detention facility.
They have never given us any protection.
Important stories you won't see anywhere else.
We will get through this together, and here's how you can help.
Share important facts you've learned with your friends and neighbors here in the borderland.
Use the Share tab on the KVIA News app or email us at share@kvia.com.
To let us know how you've been affected by COVID-19 and the Stay Home, Work Safe order.
Or if you know an unsung hero who's done something extraordinary for others, we want to salute people who make a difference when it matters most.
So share with ABC-7, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
COVID-19 has changed all our lives in ways we could barely imagine just a few weeks ago.
From sickness and death to job and income loss, changes to work and school, all our lives have been impacted.
The ABC-7 News team has the same commitment it always has. We're here to inform, not alarm.
We know you count on us to go beyond the headlines and provide important information you need to make smart decisions for your family.
Your trust means everything to us at ABC-7. We will get through this together. The coronavirus outbreak is a huge story.
But ABC-7's commitment to you won't change. We report facts, not rumors.
We've been learning more details about the positive case that was reported.
We find the context, depth, and perspective to help you make smart decisions to keep your family safe.
Together, we'll fight fear and give you practical suggestions from the experts who know best.
We need to be prepared for flare-ups in certain regions.
We're working our hardest to keep your trust in ABC-7.
Where news comes first.
An awful lot can change overnight.
The El Paso Department of Public Health also announced that it'll soon begin antibody testing.
ABC-7's Good Morning El Paso knows you need to get up to speed fast.
The city is partnering with Walmart to make 3 new drive-through sites available for public testing.
The ABC-7 Alert Center is Good Morning El Paso's tool for the latest updates to keep your family safe.
People waiting for service must be 6 feet apart or they must be waiting outside.
Only on ABC-7's Good Morning El Paso. When you need the latest news about the coronavirus outbreak, turn to the ABC-7 Alert Center.
At least one employee at the Stampede Meatpacking Center in Santa Teresa has tested positive for coronavirus.
With new details breaking minute by minute, the ABC-7 Alert Center has real-time updates to keep you informed and your family safe.
We explore the responsibility employers have to disclose information on positive COVID-19 cases.
Only on ABC-7, where news comes first.
Welcome back to ABC-7 Extra. Joining us now is Emma Schwartz, president of the Medical Center of the Americas, and Tracy Yellen, the chief executive officer for the Paso del Norte Health Foundation. Ms. Schwartz, you touched upon it briefly, the uniqueness of each and every community. What sort of challenges does that offer, most especially when we really don't have a lot of interaction during these times with Juarez, who actually is showing some really high numbers?
Yeah, we live in a geopolitically interesting place, being where at the epicenter where 3 states and 2 countries come together. It's what makes us so unique and so special. But what it also means is that we share air, we share water, and we share infectious diseases like the coronavirus. Although our borders have been very reduced in terms of the traffic flow, U.S. citizens and commercial traffic can still flow freely across the border. And so we need to understand the healthcare situation of our neighbors in Juarez, what's happening there, how we can support them, and how it potentially impacts us here in El Paso.
Ms. Yellen, to your knowledge, has Battelle been in Juarez to see what the conditions are over there and pretty much identify how they can help reduce the numbers over there? Because logically, Ms. Schwartz just mentioned the fact that one obviously interacts with the other.
Yeah, so Battelle wasn't physically in Juarez on this last trip, but they have been connected with us and our counterparts in Juarez virtually since they started. So even today, we had a collective call on testing. What have we learned in El Paso? What can we help bring to Juarez? What FDA, working with the U.S. consulate and U.S. and Mexican authorities, how can we bring additional resources to Juarez? The Health Foundation, along with some other generous funders, we've been purchasing PPE that we've worked to deliver to Juarez. And so it's really important now more than ever that we're able to share these resources. The beauty is that we have the relationships, and it's just like we're talking today. We have technology that we're using to help everyone respond more effectively. Clearly, Juarez, it has a larger population. They have greater density, and they have a very essential workforce that has been working through this crisis, just like so many of our workforce here in El Paso. And it is, incumbent upon all of us to keep everybody safe.
And their health care is vastly different in Juarez as it is in El Paso, correct?
Yeah, you have a combination. Yeah, you have a combination between both public and private hospitals. They have 3 hospitals, I understand, that are responding to COVID. And, they do have a social security sort of medical system, but also some private physicians. So for them, it's also all hands on deck, communicating a lot, sharing all the resources that they have. They have a person assigned from the state of Chihuahua that's been assigned to Juarez to help coordinate efforts. They have a number of foundations, both in El Paso, but Juarez-based foundations, FACHAC, FICOSEC, the Fundación Paso del Norte that we work with, they're all working together to bring resources to the table.
Ms. Schwartz, you touched upon Battelle and the PPEs, the personal protection equipment, and decontamination. I know that with just face masks, the N95 mask, we covered just a short while ago, I think about 2 weeks ago, the fact that some groups can decontaminate a face mask maybe 4 at a time. Battelle can do it at a much bigger number, isn't that right?
Yes, they can decontaminate up to 80,000 N95 masks in a 24-hour period. So that's really significant when our supply chain has been disrupted as much as it has, and especially for our neighbors in Juarez, where they have so few N95 masks and many more numbers. So this is a huge asset to our region in terms of our response.
Ms. Yellen, will the partnership look at maybe medical research to try to help the area as well? Are you all looking at medical research as well?
Yeah, we have, between the resources that Battelle brings to the table and the research that they're doing all the time, I mean, that's partly why the decontamination unit exists and has been able to come to our community. There are others in the partners like El Paso Water and others who are participating in studies. There are numerous antibody studies and others also coordinated among our healthcare partners, UMC, Del Sol, and the hospitals of Providence, all who have been fantastic partners throughout this process. So yeah, I think we'll see research. We want to contribute to a larger body of work, and I know we're all committed to every effort that's going to bring a vaccine to the market that can, that's the real solution to what we're dealing with right now.
Ms. Schwartz, is there any area of this partnership that we haven't covered yet that you want to highlight? Because we've talked about everything else. We've talked about decontamination. We've talked about the public education, everything else. Is there anything else about this partnership that you think needs to be highlighted?
Yeah, there's one really important factor. A lot of people in our community don't realize that we have a very robust medical device and medical supply manufacturing industry in El Paso and Juarez, with over 30 manufacturing companies and over 50 suppliers in this industry. And we have an association called Bio El Paso Juarez that brings these different manufacturers and suppliers together to try to improve and grow this industry. And this industry locally and in Juarez also has been activated and working so hard over the last few months to ramp up production of PPE and medical supplies and even ventilators. We've seen many of the manufacturers throughout the region convert from automotive manufacturing to ventilator manufacturing or other medical supplies. And so I think our region can be really proud of the fact that our manufacturing sector has stepped up to not only support our local medical providers, but also the global medical industry as these Chinese supply chain was impacted, and the work being done here is so important.
Ms. Emma Schwartz, Ms. Tracy Yellen, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us on such a very important subject this Sunday evening. And by the way, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much.
Happy Mother's Day. Hi, Mom.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Saúl Sáenz, and this has been ABC-7 Extra. Good night y buenas noches.